Hi, I'm Heather Daly, and today I'm going to show you how to create the coolest urban rustic farmhouse finish for your unfinished piece of furniture. I've created this look on numerous pieces of furniture and even on a piano in a Nashville studio. It is so amazingly vibey. I think you're going to love it. Because I want this table to look like it has a 100-year history, I'm going to give it multiple coats of paint. But before I even start to apply paint, I want to think about the way that a table with such age would have a comfortable lived-in appearance. And in order to do that, I need to kind of create distressing on the surface of the table before I apply the paint. You can use anything you might find in your junk drawer or your toolbox, or even go outside and get a rock. Now, what you want to think about is creating wear and tear along the most used parts of this table. I'm going to add some distressing to the top surface, all along the edge where somebody might pull up their chair to enjoy a meal, and then I'm going to add a little bit of distressing to the legs at the bottom. All you have to do is take whatever you decide to beat your table up with, I'm going to use a wrench, and randomly add some dents and dings to the top, the edges, and some places on the legs. And then you'll be ready for paint. So I've roughed up the surface of the table, and now I'm ready to start applying my paint. The coolest thing about this finish is that the paint colors that you choose will really set the character and atmosphere for the piece of furniture that you're going to create. If you like coastal design, perhaps you'll choose turquoise and grays and blues, the color of the sea. If you like quiet sophistication, but you still love the rustic lived-in look, perhaps you'll choose a palette of neutrals, browns and grays and blacks. For me, I want this little table to have an artistic presence when it's not being used for dining. And so I've chosen some bold colors today. Now, because we're going to put 4 coats of paint on this table, it will require a little more time than just a single application of paint, but it will be so worth it. And because we're adding multiple layers of paint, it won't be necessary for us to put a primer on the surface of this table before we start. In fact, our first layer of paint will act, in fact, as the primer. Now, I've chosen some really cool colors from Sherwin-Williams, and I've decided to go from the darkest color underneath to the lightest color on the top. This gives it a really dynamic look once we start scraping and sanding away the surface color. This little table now has 4 coats of paint. And now comes the fun part, and that's adding that cool rustic charm to your piece of furniture. The technique that I'm going to show you today doesn't require many tools. In fact, the only thing you're going to need is sandpaper. I'm going to use a couple different kinds of sandpaper to achieve the look that I want. The first thing I need is this really coarse sandpaper that is 80 pieces of grit per square inch. So make sure that you choose a dry sandpaper with the number 80 on the back. The second kind of sandpaper is really unique and different. I'm going to use wet sandpaper. And wet sanding literally means that it requires the surface of the table to be wet with water in order for the sandpaper to do the most efficient work at removing the paint. One thing you want to keep in mind when you're sanding is where the naturally occurring wear and tear of this piece of furniture might occur. The edges of the table legs. And from there on out, it's up to you how much or how little you want to distress the surface of this table. When you wet sand, the surface of the paint literally liquefies. So you're going to need an old towel or a roll of paper towels to wipe the surface frequently to see the colors being revealed underneath. 4 coats of paint, a few pieces of sandpaper, a little bit of elbow grease, and you can transform your unfinished piece of Whitewood furniture into this cool, hand-rubbed, urban rustic farmhouse look. It's important that you preserve all the hard work that went into creating this amazing, one-of-a-kind piece of furniture by applying a protective top coat. Wait, don't know how? Don't worry, I got you. I'm here to walk you through every step of the way and help you make it amazing. I'm Heather Daly, and I'll see you next time.